Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is a great day. An American was freed. Pastor Brunson is home, and it is a wonderful day. In Hebrew, there's a phrase called Mazel Tov, and I just say Mazel Tov, and I'm very happy that Pastor Andrew Brunson is free. I'm happy. Millions and millions of Americans are happy, both left and right, mainly conservatives, mainly people who care about an American being held under false charges. And obviously, the Christian community within the United States of America, millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people. But liberal media is not so happy, not so ecstatic. Wonder why. Eric H526, hello, Helen. Everyone, love you all. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Eric H526. We love you. And so it is a very beautiful thing. I want to just read you a Christian Science Monitor article to give everybody some background. So, under pressure, court allows convicted U.S. pastor to leave Turkey. In December 2016, an American pastor was imprisoned in Turkey for charges that he committed crimes on behalf of terror groups. Nearly 2 years later, he will be released from the country, but only after intense pressure from the U.S. government. A Turkish court on October 12th convicted an American pastor of charges, but released him from house arrest and allowed him to leave Turkey, a move that's likely to ease tensions between Turkey and the United States. The court near the western city of Izmir sentenced Andrew Brunson to 3 years, 1 month, and 15 days in prison for the conviction. But since the evangelical pastor had already spent 2 years in detention, he won't serve more time. The charges of espionage against him was dropped. Mr. Brunson, whose detention sparked a diplomatic dispute between the two NATO allies, had rejected the espionage charges and strongly maintained his innocence. The United States had repeatedly called for his release, and in August slapped sanctions on Turkey. Lawyer Ismail Cem Halavort said Brunson was expected to leave Turkey for the United States. Well, he's here today with President Trump at the Oval Office. The evangelical pastor had faced up to 35 years in jail if convicted of all the charges. Brunson, who has lived in Turkey for more than 2 decades, was one of thousands caught up in a widespread government crackdown that followed a failed coup against the Turkish government in July 2016. He was accused of committing crimes on behalf of groups and of alleged links to outlawed Kurdish militants and network led and a network led by U.S.-based Turkish cleric who is accused of orchestrating the coup attempt. Brunson told the court he is, quote, an innocent man. I love Jesus. I love Turkey. His trial came as Turkey and the United States are embroiled in another major diplomatic incident regarding a Saudi writer, U.S. resident Jamal Khashoggi, who disappeared at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul last week. Turkish officials claim the writer may have been killed inside the Saudi diplomatic mission. Saudi officials reject the claim as baseless. That story is a whole story unto itself. Earlier, the court called 2 witnesses following the tips from witness Levant Kalkan, who at the previous hearing had accused Brunson of aiding groups against the Turkish government. The new witness did not confirm Mr. Balkan's accusations. Another witness for the prosecution said she did not know Brunson. Brunson again denied accusations that his church aided Kurdish militants, saying that he had handed over a list of Syrian refugees whom the congregation had helped, and adding that Turkish authorities would have identified any potential criminals. We helped everyone, Kurds, Arabs, without showing any discrimination. The pastor, who was originally from Black Mountain, North Carolina, was imprisoned for nearly 2 years, detained in October 2016 and formally arrested in December that year. before being placed under house arrest on July 25th for health reasons. The court's decision at the time failed to improve tensions between the two NATO allies. Washington slapped sanctions on 2 Turkish officials and doubled tariffs on Turkish steel and aluminum imports. These moves in August, coupled with concerns over the government's economic management, helped trigger a Turkish currency crisis. Turkish President Erdogan had resisted U.S. demands for Brunson's release, insisting the courts are independent, but he had previously suggested a possible swap of Brunson and the Pennsylvania resident Fethullah Gulen, the cleric accused of being behind the coup. Mr. Gulen has denied the claim. Brunson led a small congregation in the Izmir Resurrection Church, the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, with top Representative Tony Perkins monitoring the trial, had listed him as a prisoner of conscience. William Devlin, an evangelical pastor from New York, spoke to reporters outside the Turkish prison, saying hundreds of thousands of Christians were praying for Brunson's release, and he was released. And Dan Campbell, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan Campbell. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Dean Diefendorf. You are modern day Minuteman of Democracy. Dean, thank you. Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Dean, Eric, and Dan Campbell. Thank you. So you're talking to a guy who's written, I think, about 4 articles on the Armenian genocide, stating that the United States should recognize the Armenian genocide and Israel should recognize the Armenian genocide, as of course Turkey should, for its role in committing the genocide, or the Ottoman Empire. But this what happened today or yesterday and the meeting today is very symbolic of where we are as a nation, I think. Here you have a person who is almost certainly wrongly accused because he was a Christian pastor, and perhaps there had been other religious leaders who were part of a coup, but he maybe was close to some of them, or maybe knew some of them, or maybe he was just in the same circles, and Pastor Brunson was caught up and scapegoated, and almost certainly had nothing to do with the 2016 coup attempt. And you just see the petulance of media. This should be a day where it doesn't really matter like what your, let's just say if Joe Scarborough, who is like nauseating, okay, in his contempt for and hate for Trump, if Joe Scarborough was kidnapped by, like, you know, I don't know, somebody in China or somebody in Israel or somebody in or kidnapped by or taken and arrested by a government. Let's say he was in Myanmar, and the government there kept him. I would be happy that he was released. Same with, like, you know, let's say Don Lemon was kidnapped or held in Myanmar or North Korea or wherever. Just pick a country, okay? It doesn't matter the country. Or Rachel Maddow or anyone. I say, wow, you know, Rachel Maddow is free. Okay, I think that she's like on the wrong side of history on everything. But she's free. This is good. This is good. It would be national news. It would be national news. It would be, oh my God, she's free. Oh my God. And if it was President Obama, it would be, you know, Obama freed, you know, Joy Behar. This is a fantastic day for humanity. Joy Behar was, the ladies of the View were all held because they were accused of a coup attempt in Myanmar. And, my God, this is really amazing. Obama deserves his third or fourth Nobel Peace Prize. But because it's Trump, you can hardly see, and there's like zero reaction. There's zero reaction. Like in his tweet, all there is like petulance and, oh yeah, so not helping hurricane victims, huh? Huh? Right. Everything's a photo op. They go after Kanye West, and you have rappers who are like, I'm done with you. It's like Kanye West probably doesn't care at all. Kanye West has the right mentality. He doesn't go after his attackers. He doesn't retaliate. He doesn't respond. He just is, positive energy, and that's it. It's not like a YouTuber. Like if somebody somebody goes after me, then I'll respond. But I'll probably be a lot nicer nowadays. But everything's a photo op. No, they don't give Trump credit for anything. They just don't give him credit for anything. The first thing when you type in Trump, at least in my computer, type in Trump, Melania Trump totally changed her story on the jacket. I really don't care jacket. Why is this the first thing CNN, it pops up on CNN? You have an American pastor, a Christian leader. Millions and millions of people are evangelical Christians. Millions and millions of the majority of the country is either Catholic or Christian. Catholic or Protestant, or in different, subsets of Christianity. So it's like the first thing CNN says, it's her jacket. She changed stories on her jacket. She changed stories on her jacket, and this is a big problem in life. Her jacket, well, then it's like Trump Jr. tweets unsubstantiated claim. Okay, about the Saudi journalist, fine. Washington lawyer emerging as Trump pick for White House counsel. All right, so but nothing about the pastor. Okay, so a couple of them now. You click on news, and a couple. Release U.S. pastor Andrew Brunson to meet with Trump in Oval Office. And Al Jazeera has, is there. Everything else is like about, Kavanaugh or midterms or whatever. Trump hosts freed U.S. pastor Brunson at White House. Then it's like they're just Vox, Trump's successful neutering of the FBI Kavanaugh investigation. Neutering? There was, okay, Vox is the same publication that will not tell you, not explain, or not care about Hillary Clinton transferring top secret intelligence outside the United States government. And Peter Strzok literally saying, we'll stop Trump. We will stop Trump. And there's an insurance policy called Trump Russia. And all of these things, but the FBI investigation was neutered. Do we have to hear about his classmate from 1977 who said that Kavanaugh drank more than he claims? That's gossip and hearsay. You cannot prove that he drank. This is so stupid. You cannot prove that Kavanaugh didn't drink in the manner that he claims. This is gossip and hearsay for a crime that apparently took place in a location nobody knows. There's no location, there's no crime. The best friend says she was never there. There's no eyewitness. So then what is the FBI going to do? They don't have a time machine. They don't have a time machine. So, Dan Campbell, thank you. Victor Lugo. That is why there's now 36% among Black and over 50% Hispanic. They too admit to, I think, much higher will be toast by 2020. I predict 65% at least. Well, Victor Lugo, I think there's going to be more African-American voters voting for Trump, more Hispanic. I don't know if there's one poll that says 36%. I think it was Rasmussen. In terms of voting, you're probably going to see, instead of 8%, probably 12, 13, 14% of Black voters vote for Trump in 2020. I think that. I agree with you, Victor Lugo. It's definitely like the Black and Latino voters are definitely voting more for Trump than the media and more conservative than the media would have anyone think. So I agree 100% with you on that. Victor Lugo, thank you. But it's like you have this, this is a great moment. And instead of talking about this as a great moment, it's just, shoved to the side, not a big deal. Shoved to the side, not a big deal. Oh my God, let's talk about anything else. And when they lose, because Republicans will keep the House, and Republicans will gain in the Senate. Republicans will keep the House and keep the Senate. It'll be a large, and then you get like the whole Vox, like, and other publications are like, evangelical Christians, they're not really voting for Trump. Then you get the, well, how can any Christian or how can any religious person vote for Trump? Look at his behavior. Then you get the, oh my God, these religious people are hypocrites. So it's this like stages of grief for liberal media. They're like, no. And it's just the lack of attention. Like, nobody cares in the media. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They just, they just want to continue to gaslight people. Agent Pepsi 1, I think you're wrong about Hillary. Loss of clearance was a scheme for Dems to save face, part of a deal to keep her and Obama out of jail. President Obama I don't believe Agent Pepsi ever going to jail, ever going to be indicted. Hillary is going to be indicted, and I don't even think that she'll ever really go to jail. I think that she will be indicted. And then I either think that Trump will pardon her, or there'll be some, it'll last forever and something could happen. But she could see a jail cell. I'm not certain about that, I should say. Agent Pepsi 1, I do think that Hillary Clinton will. I'm certain that she will get indicted eventually. But Clinton could not, if her security clearance was expired, she would then have to go through the process of trying to regain her security clearance, which would be a hilarious debacle before midterms. Could you imagine? CNN and MSNBC and the Washington Post, the New York Times saying, give Hillary security clearance? I mean, everyone would be like, what are you talking about? Agent Pepsi 1, I mean, look, you could be right, but I really think that the walls are caving in. I think that this is a precursor to Clinton eventually getting indicted. And President Trump today, there was no deal made with Turkey for the release and return of Pastor Andrew Brunson. I don't make deals for hostages. There was, however, great appreciation on behalf of the United States, which will lead to good, perhaps great relations between the United States and Turkey. And today he endorsed Ruthless Rothfuss. I call Keith Rothfuss Ruthless Rothfuss, highly respected congressman of Pennsylvania, is in the fight of his life because Dems changed the district map. He must win. Strong on crime, borders, big taxes and big tax and regulation cuts, military and vets. Opponent Lamb, a Pelosi puppet, weak on crime. Big endorsement for Keith. Yeah. Keith Ruthless Rothfuss. Let me just tell you. Wally George, Dragon Model. Wally, I am the modern day Wally George. Now I actually need I need a USA USA #1 with the space shuttle. Wally George was awesome. He was awesome. Wally George was awesome. I remember the other guy too. He was hilarious. What was the other guy's name? My brain is. Let's listen to. There's a great ad here. Connor Lamb ad. Oh my God, they don't have they took it down. It was the mouse ad. Come on. Where is that ad? There's this great ad talking about Connor Lamb voted for to save the jumping field mouse. And oh my goodness. All right, I can't find it, but anyway, that's the guy I always if Keith Rothfuss, when I said that they're not going to get 23 seats, I gave Democrats that. So of the 36 Cook Political Report toss-ups that I looked at, I gave Democrats the win there. And I said, look, you're just going to win that seat. I didn't even think Rothfuss could win, but I'm telling you something. If Rothfuss is close and he ends up winning, my God. Wow. Wow. So I'll tell you, like, I think that, okay. He's going to Kentucky. Oh, this is Lindsey Graham on Pastor Brunson.
United States, Pastor Brunson. South Carolina, Texas A&M football game. Looking forward to joining the game, visiting some old friends. Big day here for the United States. Pastor Brunson will soon be at the White House meeting President Trump. Last time I saw him was in a prison in Turkey. I've been working with the Trump administration, President Trump, Mike Pence, Vice President, and Pompeo. Secretary Pompeo, I talked to him this morning about Saudi Arabia. But the bottom line is this good man is now home. The only problem he had was preaching the gospel, and I'm very glad that we were able to work this out with Turkey. This is a chance to reset our relationship. Hats off to the Trump administration for making this possible. So thoughts and prayers with Noreen and Pastor Brunson, and glad to have him back in the good old USA.
So that's Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham. He's awesome. And so I find it interesting when they lose on November 6, 2018, they lose miserably. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a paradigm change because they won't be able to focus on Trump's personality as if Clinton had a award-winning personality. They won't be able to focus on his personality, and they'll be able to say, hey, you know, they'll be able to say, hey, well, what has he done? What has he done in terms of accomplishments? Has he accomplished? Well, it wasn't only Wingless Angel. I don't tell jokes. I just mock Thames with class. Yes, Wingless Angel. You are a lot classier than I am. I will do pretty much anything to mock Democrats. Thank you, Wingless Angel. We love you. We love you. My U-boat JVO, enjoy your beer. HA Canada has thousands who listen to you. Thank you so very much to the wonderful people who watch from Canada. Thank you. And my U-boat JVO, thank you so very, very, very much. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. In honor of your wonderful statement, let me see if I could find Justin Trudeau with Mankind. Not the wrestler. Not the wrestler Mankind. Hold on, where is it? This is one of the great moments in history. Better than tear down this wall, Mr. Gorbachev. Hold on one second. Justin Trudeau. Hold on. Mankind. People kind. People kind, not mankind. Tells Hold on one second. Hold on. I'm almost there. This is the best. My U-boat JVO, thank you so very much. This is a great moment in time. I thought everybody would enjoy it, so I'm doing it. Okay, so here.
So that's why we came here today to ask you to also look into the policies that religious charitable organizations have in our legislation so that it can also be changed, because maternal love is the love that's going to change the future of mankind. So we'd like you to...
we would like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind.
Yeah.
It's more inclusive.
There we go, exactly.
And the crowd roars.
It's like it's not enough with maternal love changing all the human race. He's got to take it the next step. You can't say it. It's even the woman is saying, the woman is speaking and saying, and he corrects the woman. This is the best. I have to hear this again. I love this so much.
So that's why we came here today to ask you to also look into the policies.
Mind you, is this a woman speaking?
That religious charitable organizations have in our legislation so that it can also be changed, because maternal love is the love that's going to change the future of mankind. So we'd like you to...
we would like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind.
Yeah.
It's more inclusive.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, because mankind, when you say that, an angel in heaven is tortured and dies. So you can't say that. There you go. And that's not just a Canadian thing. It's an American thing. It's a European thing. It's just the way it is. It's not unique to Canada. It's just the liberal thought police. You have to engage in the most absurd behavior to my U-boat JVO. Thank you so very much. Thank you. I figured since you're watching this channel, you're probably not a fan of Justin Trudeau. My U-boat JVO. Thank you. I remember, like, in college, it was either a teacher or a student saying, "Oh no, you gotta spell women with a Y instead of an E, WOMYN." I was like, what? What does that even mean? So do you change Mother Earth into Father Earth? Because that's bizarre. If somebody said to me, "We are hurting Father Earth," like, is there a priest named Earth? What does that even mean, Father Earth? No, it's Mother Earth. Mother Earth. Toxic femininity. No, we must not do that. Exactly, Bruce Tamazuski. He was mansplaining about he was mansplaining about people kind. And that's the thing. It's like, that is actually more. See, the left and the right take turns. I found it wrong when Karl Rove wanted to put an amendment to the Constitution to ban gay marriage. I'm not gay, but I found that wrong. I found that immoral and not practical and wrong. If gay people want to suffer like you and me, they can do so. No, I'm joking. I'm very, very happily married. But everyone, if you want to marry a person, if two men want to marry, two women want to marry, they should be able to get married. I didn't like Karl Rove for Iraq, and then, that whole thing with the Bush administration regarding Iraq, and then, of course, trying to ban gay marriage or using it to win votes. I found that wrong. The right sometimes overextends. When Christopher Hitchens was debating people, that was a time period where the Republican Party was telling people how to live their lives based on a view of religion. Oftentimes, I disagreed with that. But now Republicans are like, believe what you want to believe. You want to marry? Go ahead and marry anyone you want. We don't care. So, 5541 James H8. What keeps Jeff Sessions from taking the Comey report and charging HSC for all our crimes? Yes, to me, there's no need for any more investigation. 5541 James. Great minds think alike. You are 100% correct. There is no more need for an investigation. The only issue now is finding out how she transferred. People within the government have read my book, so, well, I shouldn't say that I know that for sure. So, but her top secret emails explains that's how you you just indict her on the Espionage Act. But then, see, I think what they're trying to do is there's so much, because the president and everyone at the NSA and everyone, they all knew she had her server. Or when they did find out, it was too late and they couldn't stop it. So that implicates a whole lot of people. So they probably want to get her on the Clinton Foundation. So they want to save face while at the same time indicting her on a litany of crimes. So pick a crime, any crime. There's also campaign finance laws. It is illegal to go purchase the Steele dossier and then use it for an investigation with campaign funds through your law firm. That's a campaign finance. I wrote an article in the Daily Caller about that. That's a campaign finance violation. So 5541 James, you're 100% right. You are 100% right. But what I was saying before is that the left overextends its extreme ideologies or its ideology, and the right overextends its value system as well. There, at times, and you saw that in the Bush administration, an overextension, of conservative, ideas, whether it was neoconservative or whether it was just religion kind of being. Then you had Christopher Hitchens pushing back. That was when Bush was running the show. Republicans were very different then. They were telling people they couldn't get married. That's wrong. Now it's the other way. Now you have leaders who are saying, don't say people kind, don't say mankind, say people kind. Everyone's, oh my God, look at Trump's personality. We used to be so much better with Hillary Clinton and her nasty, disgusting personality. So now the left is biting off more than it can chew. And the right has adopted with the times. Conservatives have adopted. So conservatives have adopted, and they're actually a lot more normal than ever. So people are saying, hey, why not become Republican? They're against racism. They're against homophobia. They're against, obviously there are certain voices, fine, but that the Republican Party is against all of that stuff. Chuck Grassley went overboard. How about a 7th FBI investigation? What can we do now? I mean, we were like, is it going to happen? Is this vote going to happen? It's the left that looks at the right and says, wait a second, you're not a freak anymore. You're not a racist, homophobic, religious, Bible thumping, political movement. What do we do now? Oh, we make a euphemism. Now everyone is a supremacist enabler. So you're not all the things you used to be, but now we're going to have to use euphemisms to attach you to what we think you are in ways that you aren't. Tony Mathis, for a long time, the Republicans were controlled by the religious extremists like the Democrats are now controlled by the socialist extremists, both religious in nature. I agree with you on that. I agree with you. And this flirtation with socialism is kind of hilarious because they don't really want socialism. If you have socialism, that you don't have Facebook owned by Zuckerberg, or you don't have, well, not that people love Facebook and want it to be owned by Zuckerberg, but I'm saying that you have the state controlling a lot more of everything, including the means of production, including thought. I'm probably explaining communism more than socialism, but they don't even have a framework by which to make the country more socialist. It would come through taxation, and they're not even running on those things. So they're hypocrites. I'm not saying double your taxes. They're not even, see, the thing is, they're not running on tax increases, which shows you they're disingenuous. If they were like, hey, look, this is what we're going to raise your taxes this much, and every stump speech and every MSNBC appearance, they're like, look, we'll raise your taxes, but you'll get this, you'll get that. They don't do that. So they're hypocrites. Midterms. So thousands march in Chicago to encourage voting in midterms. Okay, that will help Chicago. Ahead of midterms, New York Times begins live polling. So let's see what The Economist says. This is going to be hilarious. The only prediction about midterms that can be made with confidence is that more people will vote for Democratic House candidates than for Republican ones. Really? Okay, they might be talking about gerrymandering, but let's see what The Economist. The Economist's own forecasts of the House race are betting markets agree that there's around 30% probability the Republicans hold both chambers. They're out of their minds. I'm telling you right now, it's closer to 100%. And perhaps 1 in 5, the Democrats will flip both. Not going to flip both. They're not going to flip any of them. Either outcomes will fall within range of credible estimates of Mr. Trump's odds in November 2016, which he lost. I mean, which he won and they lost. Okay, so what do they say about the House? With less than a month of the campaigning left, the most likely result is that Democrats will take the House while falling short in the Senate. So they're not going to take the House. This is funny. The only prediction, they're going to lose the House, and this is The Economist too, will be The Economist, 538, CNN, all of them. This is fantastic. Combining our mathematical model. Just because you have a mathematical model doesn't mean anything. So what? You're inputting numbers that reflect your bias. Yeah, right. They're expecting a bigger wave than the Tea Party wave. Right. Whatever you say. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. And that's just not gonna happen. So they are in for such a shock. And you're going to see the articles. Oh my goodness. What did we do wrong? Well, I tell you every day in my YouTube segments. Every single day I tell you what you did wrong, and ultimately is the Democratic Party is controlled by a criminal who should have been indicted, and then they cheated Bernie Sanders, and they say they love socialism. You leave the bride or the groom at the altar, ain't going to work. That you can't come back and say, let's get married again. We can do it. Just joking. Hope you didn't take it bad when I left you at the altar. The polls are fundamentally flawed. You're asking people, do they like this person's personality? Do you think the polls were flawed in 2016 also because they didn't factor in turnout, but they also placed too much emphasis on Trump's personality because it's the only thing they have against Trump. He's not a madman. He's not racist. He's not anything. He's just a Republican who actually does what he says he's going to do. That's it. And then they can't defeat that because Democrats have no alternative to that. They have the media. All of this is media driven. So the polls are media driven. Let's look at something. So CNN poll. Beto O'Rourke raised $38 million. He will lose. You're pretty stupid if you give money to a candidate that has zero chance of winning, but fine. Congressional polls right here. Now, this is why the whole thing's a racket. And I'll tell you why the whole thing's a racket. Okay. Oh, now they're saying split decision in midterms, Washington Post. So they know the Senate's done, but you have the same ballot. It's the same ballot. You don't get a different Senate ballot. You go vote, and if Republicans are going to win the Senate, their voters are going to use the same ballot. You think they won't vote for the Republican in their district? Why would they not do that? You think they're only going to vote for the senator and that's it? These people are stupid. These people are stupid. Go and type in what a generic ballot looks like if you voted in the midterms. So if you go and look, you can just look at this is a sample ballot in Texas. United States Senator, and then United States Representative and District. It's the same ballot. Okay? I voted in the midterms and I voted in presidential elections. So if these geniuses are saying that, well, we just think that in our models, in our super duper 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 plus poll plus minus polling models, we just think that, the House is going to flip. We know that, right? Well, how can the House flip if you have a surge in Republican support in the Senate? And either in the Texas ballot, it was right there. It was Cruz and then your representative senator and your representative in Congress in your district. And you mean to tell me all these people are going to go and surge in Missouri, Florida, even New Jersey, North Dakota, Montana, who else? Tennessee. And they're not going to then vote Republican for the House? What planet are you on? John Cox, the big John Cox, is going to increase turnout because people are going to want to vote for him. And then they'll vote for their Republican in the district, even if they're not that thrilled. John Wigan, polls aren't designed to reflect public opinion. They're designed to shape it. Exactly. They are public relations tools. If 30 days, 40 days, 60, 100 days out, people knew that, gosh, it's pretty close, that you can't really get Trump on anything. Monica Hurley in New Jersey, do you think Andy Kim will take the district? Hope not. New Jersey, what district race is that? Monica Hurley, thank you. Let's see. Andy Kim polls. I'm not sure, actually. I think I gave that win to the Democrat. So I think I gave that win to Andy Kim, and if that was a toss-up, But then they have in one poll they have MacArthur up. So MacArthur is up in one poll. New Jersey Representative Tom MacArthur narrowly led his Democratic opponent in a Republican campaign's polling of the 3rd district. So, MacArthur led 44-40. So look, this is why it's a racket. The polling is a racket. This is why, okay? This is not science. This is like John Wiggins said. Just complete nonsense. Now, if you look at the Real Clear Politics polls, how on earth do you have a Rasmussen poll that says tie, a Rasmussen Reports poll, okay, October 4th, okay? It's a tie, which means that if it's a tie, ladies and gentlemen, or if it's 2 or 3 up Democrats, you're looking at Republicans gaining a seat or 2. Okay. You're looking at, if it's a tie, just because you have state legislatures controlled by primarily Republican state legislatures and Republican governors, and they got to the structural advantage of Republicans is there in terms of districts, but they control the state houses, and Democrats would have done the same thing. They try to when they can. But you're looking at it, if it's like 2 or 3 up, it says tie here. You're looking at Republicans actually gaining seats if it's a tie. But then the same 3 days later, Democrats up 13, CNN. How on earth do you go from one polling site with Democrats up 13 and then one polling site with a tie? Now, I understand the whole concept of, well, one is an outlier and they're both outliers. Oh, no. I don't want to hear. I don't care. I understand the concept of that, but if it's ridiculous. You're not dealing with an actual a scientific process. You're dealing with just a subjective. You might as well be just giving your thoughts and not pretending you're hiding behind math that reflects public sentiment. These numbers don't reflect public sentiment, because what you see is the polls always narrow right before. I'm going to see this. So let's see this. A CNN poll conducted by so let's look at this poll, okay? The study for CNN was via telephone. Interviews conducted from October, sample of 1,099 respondents. The landlines were 407. If you're answering on your landline, you're probably watching CNN all day. You're answering on your landline during business hours, you're watching CNN all day. And there were 602 cell phone respondents. If you're on your cell phone, if you have time during your day, 15 minutes to speak to some schmuck from CNN or the polling company, you're watching MSNBC and you hate Trump. Okay? You probably hate Trump, because you probably want your voice heard because you hate the guy. So almost half were landlines. Same thing in 2016. The margin of error for total was 3.8 points. Okay. with 95% confidence level. This is a joke. This is a joke. 4-point margin of error. Okay. The design effect is 1.5. Okay, more information about SSRs. So 1,000 respondents. How on earth is that public sentiment for 320 million people? How is this public sentiment in an economy that is doing not just great, like amazing? We might get 5% GDP growth. This is stupid. People are stupid. And it's nothing against this research company, nothing against CNN, actually, for once. It's 1,000 people. It is not, this is not the 80s. It's not even the 90s. It's not even the early 2000s. This is a time where if you point, you're sexist. They called Bernie sexist for pointing. This is a time period where there is actually a debate about, and I won't get into it, but I'm gonna just it's stupid. Wow, John Wigan, the day of the Alabama debate, the Alabama special election, Fox News was saying that Doug Jones was up by 10 points. He won by 1. Yep, John Wigan, thank you, John Wigan. I agree 100% with you. These are marketing tools. These are tools to just more tools to gaslight people. So you have 1,000 respondents, 1,009 respondents. Almost half are landlines. Then it's like, do you approve or disapprove of the way Congress is handling its job? Okay, obviously nobody likes Congress. Fine. Okay, do you approve of the way Congress continued? If the elections for Congress were held today, which candidate would you vote for in your congressional district? The Democratic Party candidate, the Republican Party candidate. Okay, so 54, but this is not indicative of 435 contests. There are 435 contests. Like, this could possibly be more accurate for a presidential election with 2 choices. But it wasn't even back then for a whole, in 2016 for a whole number of reasons. And I was saying that, I mean, look at these ridiculous dumb polls. That's why party on this channel. November 6th, 2018. November 6th, 2018. You know I'm OCD. You know I keep saying November 6th, 2018. You know I keep saying it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Party. Republicans will keep control of the House and keep control of the Senate. Republicans will gain in the Senate and they'll keep control of the House. If the elections for Congress were being held today, but you can't. Maybe on the way there, you're thinking, golly gee, this is a great economy. Gosh, peace between North and South Korea is a really good thing. You know, I really don't want the elevator hoppers bothering me. You know, Operation Estrogen Fury was a little bit scary. Gee, you know what? I think I might vote for Ruthless Rothfuss. Connor Lamb is, really good looking and all, and, has a great career. But I think I might vote for Ruthless Rothfuss in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I'm going to change my mind. Sorry, CNN. And then this is very bizarre. Very bizarre. They have these polls where it's like, oh, it was tightening up and now it's widened. How does it get what? Kavanaugh destroyed Democratic chances. He didn't help Democrats. He destroyed Democrats. The country looked at that and said, this is insane. So John Wigan is 100% right. So 54% said the Democratic Party's candidate. But see, you should be actually putting the name of somebody there in your district. And even those polls don't take into account primary turnout. Primary turnout, I will be right yet again. Primary turnout is the most important factor. Are you saying no? But the actuaries, no. But you're talking about life and death, from what I understand. What you're saying, I think that you're talking. Well, I mean, also, I mean, look, if you smoke and drink and eat donuts every day, I'm talking not just if you eat donuts, no problem. If you eat donuts and drink sometimes, no problem. If you eat donuts and smoke, okay, no problem. If you eat donuts, drink, and smoke, and bungee cord. Fly, skydive, you might not make it. Or, if you're, I mean, people are living longer, but you're talking about biological functions, I mean, statistics, they work. I mean, this is not statistics. This is just marketing. We asked somebody, hey buddy, what are you doing now? I don't know. I'm home. I'm watching CNN. Who is this? It's us, CNN. No way. I was just watching you on TV. It's us, CNN. I just said that. I was watching you on TV. You want to do a poll? Yeah. What do you got? Hold on. Let me microwave my popcorn. I just got Jiffy Pop, and we have no time. What do you want to vote for your Democratic presidential candidate? Democratic Party candidate in your district? Which one is it? I guess it might. Yeah, I don't really like the Republican. 13 points up. You're done, Republicans. You're done. We call the landlines again. Just like we did for 2016. When we were wrong again. This is statistical analysis, because we call landlines. Most people don't have them. And generally, the people who have them watch MSNBC on continual loop. So their brains turn to mush. Ladies and gentlemen, they called almost half of the 1,000, 40% of the 1,000, 40% of a study that says that Republicans are toast are landlines yet again. You watch landlines, very likely you're going to vote Democrat, at least in these polls. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe. Thank you so much to my super chat. Thank you. Everyone, thank you. Thank you. For my UK viewers, Sarm, thank you. And God bless everyone. Thank you so much.